is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Models by Tony, the channel where I, Tony, make awesome models from start to finish. And I'm just chilling here on Friday. Got some nice Polish beer here. Tasty. And I came up with a fun 3D printing project. So I've got a bunch of these little tiny tools that I need, not very often, but I keep them next to my 3D printer because every once in a while something needs a tune-up or something's messed up. So I keep them there, but they kind of always get lost and get thrown all over the place because they're just kind of there. So I figured, why not 3D print a cool container to keep them in? So, in my last video, I showed you guys how to paint one of these cool little tiny barrels that I 3D printed and make them look all rusty and weathered. So I figured, why not make a much bigger one to keep all my tools in and make it a cool radioactive waste barrel. And in addition to that, I'm going to try and make it about as thick as this LED light pad that I have. I ordered one from Amazon and it came with two, and I only needed one, so I'm going to use this one to put in the base of the barrel to give off this cool little green light to make it look like it's a radioactive waste barrel or something like that. So anyways, let's go into Fusion 360 and design a cool barrel that we can print tonight. Okay, so sorry guys, I had some technical difficulties. The screen capture software I was using to record my design process in Fusion 360 kind of glitched out on me, so I don't have that footage. I didn't really save the design, so I figured I'd just skip right to the painting. So here's the barrel, and I covered it in a base coat of aluminum Rust-Oleum paint, which I really like because it looks really shiny and metallic. Gives a really metallic look, and then I basically cover that in a very light coat of white, very light base coat. I think white's a good base coat because you can really paint over the next color after that, which is yellow. I wanted the barrel to look kind of yellow. I feel like that's kind of the stereotypical color for like radioactive waste barrels that you can see in like movies and stuff like that. And I just went with a nice kind of uneven coat. So I made it darker in some places and lighter in other parts, just because I think it adds a little element of realism and depth to it. So that was my next step, coloring the barrel and the lid in just kind of an uneven coat of yellow. And I think that actually turned out pretty well. It looked pretty good just on its own. And then I had these masks that I printed off with the radioactivity symbol and also just the word radioactive on the other side. And I think that turned out really well as well. And then once I finished that, my next step was to weather the barrel. I wanted it to look kind of old and worn, so my basic process was to put some rust effects on there. So I started with a little layer of light brown, and so I just added some patchy rust areas on a couple of different parts of the barrel. And I was careful not to overdo it, as I have on some models. I tried to make it very sparse and sparing, just one layer of very light brown, and then I kind of added to that with a couple of subsequent layers of brown and greens and other colors, just really light splotches on there. And then I also I don't actually have footage of this, but I just added a couple of layers of chalk pastels. I've actually gotten pretty into using chalk pastels lately in my weathering. I think it adds a really nice effect, a very nice subtle effect. So you'll see that at the end once I show off the final product. But I think even just the paints on their own look pretty good. But I kept the inside looking shiny and aluminum just because I figured it'd probably do a better job at reflecting the light from the LED lights that I'm going to put at the bottom. So I kept it that way, but the outside I think was pretty well weathered and worn, and I think it turned out pretty well. So I'm just going to finish up the painting here, and then I'll show off the final product in a little bit. Okay guys, welcome back. So here are the results of my project. I think it actually turned out really well. Here's my little tool holder. So it's got the radioactive on the front here, it's got the radioactivity symbol on the other side, And then I put that on the front too. I think the rust effects turned out really cool. The paint job looks really good. And you know what? Now I've got a little place to put my tools. I think that's pretty cool. And to tie everything up here in the end, like I said, I've got the little LED thing in the bottom. So, look at that. Let's see. There we go. Very cool, very cool. And I'm probably going to do a video about interlocking parts with 3D prints. But just to give a little demonstration here to begin with. I'm going to take all the tools out, and voila! The lid fits on just perfectly. I think it's pretty cool. So there you have it. There's my 3D printed radioactivity barrel little tool holder. Stay tuned for more video, guys. Check out my Instagram in the description below. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.